Welcome to Hustle and Homes, the savage secrets of social media savvy real estate agents, the podcast that brings you insights and tips from successful real estate agents who are killing it on social media. Now, join us as we explore the tactics and strategies these top performing agents use to close deals, build their brands, and connect with clients through social media. So, whether you're a seasoned real estate professional or just starting out, this podcast will provide you with valuable insights and inspiration and help you succeed in the fast paced world of real estate. So, buckle up and get ready to learn from the best of the best in the industry. And today is no different. Today, I have Javier Nichols, man. Welcome to the podcast, bro.
What's going on, man? Thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate it. And it's just a great platform to be here. You know what I mean? Hustle and Homes, it speaks for itself. You got to know how to navigate this market from an agent's perspective and a buyer and seller and investor perspective. So I love what you guys bring to the table. I'm happy to be here.
Thanks, man. Now, if you're looking at this on YouTube, I got my paper and pen out right now, and y'all definitely want to take out your paper and pen because this is going to be a lot of information, a lot of valuable information. But Javier, why don't you tell us about yourself and about your background?
Yes, so I'm Javier Nichols again. I'm an agent, I'm a realtor, I'm a trainer, I'm a motivator, I'm a father, I'm a business owner, I'm a lot of things, right? And a lot of us in real estate, we find ourselves wearing those many hats as well. So I serve on the board of realtors for Pennsylvania Association of Realtors. I also serve on the board of Bucks County Association of Realtors, and I train agents nationwide. And I train them in such a way that is creative, but is also impactful for the right now. A lot of agents, they run into trainings and tips and tricks that may not fit their actual strategy or their style at that moment. So we make sure that we start finding exactly how they like to work, how they like to communicate, and most importantly, showing them how to get to the deal. So that's what we've been doing. We role play every morning, we meet every day, and we get right to it, man. So again, thanks for me. I appreciate you for having me here, man. It's amazing.
No doubt, man. Now, you mentioned you're a realtor, man.
Yep.
What got you into real estate? What made you want to become a realtor? And what did you do prior to being a realtor?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So, what got me to be a real estate agent and then become a realtor ultimately was when I bought my first home. When I bought my first home, the real estate agent that we were using, she was very nice. She was very, informative. But I understood that there was something there that I was like, it was lacking, right? And I come from a sales background. Before I became a realtor, I actually was a car salesperson. So for those car salesmen out there or saleswomen out there, shout out to you. I did that for 7 years with the Sussman Automotive Group and with McCafferty Automotive Group. I was number one for 5 of those years, so it really was good. And
Wow.
before that, I was selling paper with WB Mason and selling kitchen cabinets with Home Depot. So
Oh,
long
wow.
history of sales, direct
Right.
sales, cold calls, and those items that involve. But in real estate, it really showcased to me like a different type of way to help because I've always wanted to help people. And that's what
Mhm.
drove me to sales, right? But when you get into real estate, you understand the rules of engagement and you also understand how things were not always a level playing field. I live in Levittown, and Levittown, as many of you already know, if you ever check out the book Color of Law, you know that when they created this neighborhood, it was literally written in the deeds that it cannot be resold to people of color. And when I started to understand those things, even before getting to real estate, I realized there's a disconnect here. And I started looking back at my family line and finding out that, wow, we rented majority of our lives.
Mhm.
Systematically, those were in place. So my true passion with becoming a realtor was not only to gain financial wealth with my family, but also help others around me do the same with their families.
Right. It's a cycle. And I say that all the time. People, a lot of times, and even kids, they do what they see you do.
Yeah,
So if they see you renting, then it doesn't come to them, well, maybe I should own. But if they see like a person gets what they demand in
yeah,
life, is what I
yeah.
once heard. So you're totally spot on as far as that goes. Now, as far as RPR, what is RPR? Where can realtors find it? But let's start for those who don't know, what is RPR?
Awesome. So RPR is everything to a realtor. And I want to point that out because it is. RPR is Realtors Property Resource. It is another equivalent to your MLS, but it deep dives into the data and gives you surface level, but also micro level information about any community anywhere. And they also have a mobile app, which is geolocated. So therefore, wherever you are, you can just pull open the app and get the data of that community on the spot. So RPR has over 166 million parcels currently inside the system and growing, and they have spread across the entire country. So it is the, let's call it the mothership of data, parallel to your MLS, because I oftentimes explain RPR as, RPR and the MLS like two islands. And there's a bridge that connects the two islands. Now, MLS comes first with the data and the knowledge, but then RPR gets it and then takes it a little further. So you need them both to succeed in this business.
Now, as a realtor, how do I access RPR?
Yes. So accessing RPR is very simple. All you need to go is narrpr.com and register. But keep in mind, folks, you need to be a realtor. If you are a real estate agent and you are not a member of NAR, you do not have access to RPR. RPR is not accessible from by anyone else other than a realtor. So it's very important for us realtors out there to stand strong and showcase the benefits of becoming one, but also the benefits of working with a realtor.
Okay, so I become a realtor
Yep.
and now I get RPR. Okay, what's next? Where do I start? Um, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. So I'm glad that we're walking through the steps because a lot of folks have these questions, and I'm assuming that everyone that's going to be listening to this and watching this is going to be taking notes. So make sure when you first go to narrpr.com, you're going to register. So you're going to be using your NAR ID number. That's going to be I think it's a 6 or 7 digit number that you got when you became a realtor. You're going to type that in. You're going to make sure that you have all your information correct. And you're also going to connect your local MLS to RPR so it can intermingle and exchange data. But make sure that your logo, your name, everything is 100% correct. Because when you send out reports or when you post or do anything using RPR, you want to make sure it actually connects to you. So you got that part done, right? You got it set up. You put all your information, credentials in there. And now you're like, what do I do next? Well, the first thing you do is you're going to go up to the screen. You're going to click the box that says research, and you're going to go down to neighborhood search. And then you're going to have a big box that pops up on the front of the screen. All you have to do is type in the zip code that you work. And once you type that in, the screen is going to populate data. Take some time and research and read the actual connection between your zip code, your county, and your state, because there's a story to be told and you need to understand how to communicate that information to your clients.
Okay. So I'm just getting started in the business. I'm a buyer's agent. Okay.
Yep.
Somebody calls me and maybe I'm getting Zillow leads or realtor.com leads. And somebody calls me and they want to see a home. Is there any way that this website can help me in this appointment?
Well, not necessarily. It can help you in
Okay.
this appointment by giving you ideal information about that market. So, for
Okay.
example, let's just say, again, you have a buyer, they want to see a property. First thing, of course, you want to use whatever showing time app or whatever showing app you have. You schedule that
Mhm.
showing. But if you want to get a pulse on that community, you go ahead and type in that address or type in that zip code. Now, you also can take this a step further and go into the map and circle that little couple of street cluster and find out more
Mhm.
detailed data. But one of the keys that you're going to see is you're going to see the median list price and the median sales price for that community. That's going to help you on the fly. Because again, you got a Zillow lead, you got to go. You got to go and show that property. You don't have time to
Mhm.
run CMAs in the MLS because again, time is of the essence. So that's why the RPR mobile app helps, because while let's just say you're a very intentional agent and you get to the property earlier than your client, you're now opening up RPR on your phone, typing in the area that you're in, and looking at that market data, knowing that the list price to sales price ratio is at an 87%, knowing
Mhm.
that the list price median is a 317 and the sales price is a 296. And then this property is priced at 300. This is very, very crucial information because now when your buyer sees this home and loves this home, you now can give them a quick synopsis of what you believe an offer should look like for that property.
Okay. So you just sped past that real fast, okay? And the reason is because that's why you're the trained expert in
Yeah.
RPR.
Yes.
But step back a little bit as far as those three categories that you mentioned, and then kind of break those down individually as far as the last one was the price of the home, the actual price of the home. But then you had mentioned some factors two factors before that.
Yes. So the sales price so the list price to sales price ratio, that's going to be on RPR. Now, majority of you who know me and are in our world, you know that I always reference original price to sales price ratio. So you can
Mhm.
actually see what the original price was. RPR shows you the list price. And list price and original price, the reason why they're so different is because the list price is the actual final list price before that property sold. The original price was the price before they deducted it to get to the list price. So be very careful on how you're looking at these two numbers. However,
Mhm.
RPR doesn't give you original price, they only stick to list price. That
Okay.
ratio is like a temperature. You understand that each market is going to give you a different ratio. And as a
Okay.
buyer's agent, you need to know when there are dips or there are increases in that ratio so you can properly get your client acclimated and prepared for submitting an offer. Because if there's money on the table and you went in full price and didn't realize that you could have went full price and asked for a little concession, you left money on the table for your buyer. So that's one of the of the data points. But I also mentioned sales price median and list price median. These numbers are shown on RPR and they actually give you a 3-year run. So you can see over the
Mhm.
last 36 months how much those two numbers have gone up or gone down. So, for
Okay.
example, as a buyer's agent, if you guys are looking into a community and you see that this area has a list price of a list price median of 317,000, but you also see that that is an increase of 68% over the last 3 years. That's indicating to you that this community is in demand. Why? Because the
Mhm.
list price has gained. However, if you see that that sales price has now dropped below that 317 number, you see that there is a correction or what we like to call a changeover in that community, giving you more motivation to give to your buyer clients to say, hey, this area was once at 317, but we're seeing a slight dip around 296. And this means the difference on your mortgage payment.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. So when a buyer is going out, they can kind of, like you said, check the temperature
Yes.
of the area. Okay.
Yes. You need
Now,
that.
if go ahead,
Yep.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I was just saying that you need that as a buyer's agent because every area
Right.
that you go into, even inside the same zip code, will give you a different number, and you need to understand that so you can best help your clients. Because again, separation is key when it comes to comparing against other agents in your market.
Correct. Now, if I'm a seller's agent, so someone's calling me up and they want me to list their home.
Yep.
What are on a low level? What are some of the things that RPR can do for me?
Oh man, that's a good. So number one, I'm gonna go right back to that ratio, right?
Okay.
As a seller's agent, we know because I pride myself in being a listing agent, even though I train 24/7. But as a listing agent, you need to price correctly,
Right.
and we know that not pricing correctly can lead to an expired listing.
Right.
It can lead to having to drop the price or give a price improvement down the line. So seeing
Right.
what that ratio looks like at that moment before you list that property and explaining that to your client in that way can help save you a lot of time and money. And again, for us listing agents, your client, if you're not meeting with them once a week, which we all should be with our clients, they're looking at you like, what's going on? Because you came in here hot and heavy saying you're going to get all this stuff done. You're going to post and get all this social media, all this syndication,
Right.
all these websites.
Right.
And now I'm on the
Right.
market for 30 long days. So learning that sales price, that original price to sales price ratio, knowing where that is immediately helps you price correctly. But then it does something different. It allows you to find other off market sellers, or what I like to call motivated sellers in that community.
Mm-hmm.
Because again,
How's
you're
that?
Well, if you're a listing agent, you need to be utilizing circle prospecting,
Okay.
just listed and just sold for that community. However, let's just say you ran that research. You typed in that address or you typed in the zip code and you found out that this neighborhood has gained 48% over the last 3 years. Well, who could benefit from that information? Other homeowners in that community. Because we
Mm.
all know, I don't know who said this, Mike Ferry or Tom Ferry, that when one house sells, typically two more others sell behind it. So if we use this logic, we want to make sure that we are in front of those homeowners who may be thinking about it, right? So if you know that this number is 80 or 48% in the increase over the last 3 years, then we're going to go and find people who bought their home 10 years ago and say, hey, Mr. Seller or Mr. Homeowner, I'm selling the Jones family house for this amount. We under contract, multiple offers, and just wanted to let you know, were you aware that your community has increased by valuation, property valuation, by almost 50% in the last 3 years?
Oh, wow.
Done. Right. And they're going to, and that's going to lead to a conversation. And if you do that enough, you're going to lead yourself right into another listing.
Okay. So if I'm understanding you correctly, if I'm looking at a certain area, I'm farming a certain area, let's just say University City.
Yep.
I'm farming University City. So when I see that prices have increased the last 3 years by 50%, I guess these are more talking points that I would have when I'm talking to potential sellers that I can get from RPR.
Correct. But not just talking points. RPR
Okay.
provides you with very visual charts and graphs that you
Okay.
can utilize in a green screen format for Instagram. I use it. We use it all the time. We all do. I know you do. I love the fact that you use green screen a lot to let us know the highest and lowest property prices in Liberty and Northern Liberties. I see that a lot. But you can use it in a mailer. If you're sending out a mailer to those homeowners, right? And you're showing them the numbers because again, RPR does something that very few software products do, and it gives you demographical data on the
Mhm.
community. So, for example, if you know that this community is full of engineers or people that work in the engineering space, engineers typically are thinkers who like to look at analytical research. So,
Mhm.
therefore, if I'm sending a line graph or I'm sending a percentage graph showcasing an increase while also writing them a letter, a note to give them more information on what they're viewing, that now can be a lay in to when I door knock them or to when I pick up the phone and call them. So RPR not only is a talking point, but is also a printable worksheet that you can use as a flyer to attract homeowners.
Interesting. Now, in reference to actually listing a home, meaning getting the price, I
Mhm.
know a lot of people struggle with this. Um, I guess how does RPR help you? I mean, because when we're talking about the median prices,
Mhm.
we're looking in a rear view mirror and we're looking at other homes. But when I'm trying to get a price on this particular home, as far as what to sell it for, is there any tools in RPR that helps me?
It does, but I also push right back to the MLS. Always
Okay.
go to the MLS because the MLS is going to RPR is a guide, but the
Mhm.
MLS is the law in our book when it comes down to data because MLS is just raw knowledge of properties that are on the market. Yes, RPR will display those as well. Properties that are expired, canceled, withdrawn, under
Mhm.
contract, RPR will show those. However, if an agent did not put in the right information for that listing and misplaced maybe the subdivision name or maybe the county or something small,
Mhm.
RPR, you're going to be missing some data points inside that may not be pulling because of some inaccuracy. Okay. And that's that bridge effect that I was explaining before. Okay.
Mhm.
RPR is going to have direct connection to your MLS and they're going to see as much as they can see. But I always tell agents that assume nothing, verify everything. So if you go into RPR and there's pointing at a price tag of this home, based off of the knowledge and the charts that you're reading, double check MLS. Make sure you're not missing anything because, again, price is crucial. There is that sweet spot in your market that can even help you get higher as far as a push on demand, right? If you find that the median list price in this community, let's just stay on the topic of the 317 model, then you may want to come in at 310. Why? Because that's going to get a high demand, and those high demands turn into what? Multiple offers. And those
Okay.
multiple offers turn into what? More lucrative payouts for your clients, which are the sellers. And that could
Right.
be in terms of a monetary payout or just terms. The terms are just way better on this because it's a multiple offer situation. So I do like RPR when it comes down to up to minute data, but I also cross check it with the MLS just to be sure.
What about market updates? For example, on the MLS, I personally feel like their tools are outdated, um, and they don't have a lot of training as far as how to work those tools,
Yeah.
in reference to market updating. What they were doing, and I think they've been futzing around with this because what they'll do is they'll send out the market updates for the month, but then they were doing weekly at one point in time, but I don't know if they stopped doing that or what have you. And then they have it for the whole uh, Bright region, a lot of information for the Bright region, and then Philadelphia. They say Philadelphia area, which includes Camden and Wilmington, which I don't think is accurate. I don't think Wilmington really has nothing to do with Philadelphia. But in any case, in reference to market updates, I guess how would RPR be able to help me or help an agent in that respect?
Yeah. So that's a good question. And I want to make sure that we all are on the same page as realtors. And we need and real estate agents alike, because we all are on the same boat on this. We need to understand that real estate is a very micro level effect. Okay. And I say this because a lot of times when we are trying to get the data, we look at a higher view to get the numbers, not
Mhm.
knowing that this cluster over here has 4 or 5 new flips that is going to affect the value of these homes. And these homes over here have a couple of distress, maybe pre foreclosures that's going to affect this community. But as a whole, it's reading this number. And we're looking at these numbers to make our decisions, and that's not accurate. And this is why we run into a problem where people are pricing homes and effectively they're giving market data that's not up to speed to a certain cluster of streets. So RPR is really good at helping you go right into the map view and click the polygon. And we're going to be going over this in our lunch and learn that we're going to have later on. And I'm going to actually show you guys. But you also can go, I mean, you go into the map, you click the polygon. All right. And by the way, I want to point out that there's a heat map function in there that's going to just straight up blow y'all away when you see it in action. But you click the polygon and then you go to the community. But then you only want to get, especially if you live in the city. For those of us that live in the city, I live in the county, by the way. But for those of us as as agents that live in the city, you understand, just like the county, that when you leave a neighborhood and go to another neighborhood, there could be a difference in the actual neighborhood itself, size of homes, the square, I mean, like the designs of the homes, and of course the actual neighborhood itself. So therefore, you need to know where these boundaries are. So you will cover that, and then you will get what pops up. It says market activity report. You click that button, wait a couple minutes, maybe even seconds, boom, pops up on your screen. You now have a market activity report based on this little cluster rather than the big one. And that's the market activity report that you use to educate those homeowners in that particular community.
Mhm.
And that's the market activity report that you use on social media when you're speaking. Because how amazing is it when you hear agents say, hey, if you live in Cobalt Ridge, this community has increased 98% over the last 15 years in value. So contact me today if you're looking to sell your home. I'm not saying Levittown. I'm not saying Bucks County. I'm saying Cobalt Ridge, which is only a cluster of 417 homes. So again, we need to be micro when we're doing the market activity reports or any kind of report, but RPR allows you to do that. And we do have the 30,000 foot reports if you want to do it as well from that perspective.
Okay. And that's something I'm constantly telling people about, that real estate is super local. So if you're looking at the news and they're saying the sky is falling, Chicken Little, just understand that they're looking at it nationally,
Yeah,
not locally.
yeah,
Now, as far as, because a lot of things, RPR is a tool,
yep.
and does it have any marketing sections or any marketing functions also for the realtor?
Yes, it
Meaning,
does.
oh,
I'm
go ahead.
sorry. Nope, nope, nope.
Meaning like connecting to your social media, putting out certain information or what have you.
Well, I recommend that if you're going to use any tool to post to your social media, that is just maybe don't just share. It doesn't really have a function for you to share to your social media. You would need to just upload it out, like you download whatever reports you like, you screenshot whatever data sets you liking, and then you go ahead and post it from there. But you can email from RPR directly to your clients. So if you have an investor client that you just met and they're like, hey, I don't know where to buy, where's a good area to buy, and you run a heat map and you find that this cluster of the community is showing a decline at a double digit rate, and now you're sending him that report or her that report, and that report now can be sent directly from RPR to their inbox. And it goes back to what I was saying in the beginning of making sure your logo, your name, your headshot is all correct, because when you send it, your name and face is on every single page. So therefore, it's made by you. And that investor is going to see that and say, wait a minute, I never seen a report like this before. This agent must be different. And therefore, your relationship now is a little bit more cemented in, and you move forward. So it does give you the function to email reports, but it doesn't give you the function to directly share. Not that I know of, as far as
Right.
directly share to your social media. And again, guys, remember, and when you're sharing data, the best thing for you to do, and this is a quick hack, by the way, take that, copy it, take the transcript, because you can take text off of PDFs, put it
Mhm.
into Chat GPT, and then write, give me 5 key takeaways from this.
Mm.
Chat GPT throws 5 of them. Now you take those 5 and put them into a piece of content and reference that article or reference that piece of market that you got from RPR. That's the better way to do it, because just posting stuff or resharing stuff that you haven't really explained, that's
Right.
blending in. And we're not here to blend in. We're hustling homes, man. We're not here to blend
It's
in.
just noise. I mean, yeah, you do that and it just becomes white noise in the
Correct.
back. Um, as far as a CRM, now I know in RPR you can put in an address and get an instant CRM, correct?
When you pull in the address, you have information about that home, information about that homeowner, and you potentially have telephone numbers in there. I'm not aware of any type of CRM where you can stack up clients or stack
Not
up homes.
CRM. I'm sorry. I didn't mean CRM.
You mean the
What I
CMA?
meant, what, there you go.
Yeah. So I don't use RPR for CMAs. I love
Right.
RPR, guys. I want to make sure that we understand this. I love RPR. However, when I'm making a CMA, I'm always cross referencing it with the MLS. And the
Okay. That
MLS,
was my question.
yeah, I'm always cross referencing. It's very imperative that we do this, because we have to realize that agents oftentimes make mistakes. And if they're making mistakes on these listings, RPR has no way to pull that information if it's an error. There's just no way. I mean, it gets, if there's any RPR technician out there that want to give me some information that I do not know, but as of right now, if you put something in wrong in the MLS, it's not going to pull correctly when you're looking for like properties, because it's only going to
Right.
look for like properties. So the MLS, though, and this is another hack, that if you're using the MLS, you need to make sure that you are using the polygon function when you're looking for a CMA. Don't rely on subdivision name, city name, county name,
Mm.
zip code. Don't rely on those, because if an agent made a mistake on one of those categories, you're not going to see the right data. So you have to make sure that you're using a polygon and you're literally casting a net. So anything inside this net, it's kind of like one of those little toys at the arcade, right? The little claw, right? You want to be the claw and go in and pull directly from the area you want and not rely on the computer to do it for you.
Right. No, that's facts because I tell my clients all that all the time where they want to put in specific things to search for,
Yep.
maybe like a garage or a finished basement, and I let them know, I don't know if you want to do that because these are being inputted by real estate agents.
Yep.
So a house could have a finished basement, but maybe they didn't actually put that in to the data and
Yep.
now we're going to miss it. So it's kind of like, yeah, I don't want to be super general, but you don't want to be so specific
Yeah.
and you kind of miss things. So that's super good information. My question was going to be, have you compared the CMA that it gives you in RPR to one that you would do by hand
Mhm.
and kind of see what's the ratio of it being off?
Yo, I mean, it's to me personally, I have to admit that it is sometimes spot on and sometimes off, depending on the area. I mean, it's really depending because nothing is blanketed, right? Because every area is going to have different results. But
Right.
again, when you're so used to using both, you're always putting them like a sandwich. Like when you're making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, it's very rare you're going to see somebody make it with one piece of bread, right? Any sandwich is going to have mainly two pieces of bread. RPR and MLS, that's the sandwich that we should be consuming on a regular basis. So we have an understanding of our area down to a micro data set that no one else has. This is something that,
Mhm.
again, guys, is separating us from the other agents. There are so many of us. Everybody knows at least 5 real estate professionals right now.
Right.
Call anybody you know. How many agents do you know? I guarantee they know more than one. Okay, that's a guarantee. So if
Right.
that's the case, think about that because there was a stat that came out right around COVID where there were more real estate agents than there were buyers looking for homes. That was the
Wow.
first time in human history that's ever been done. Look up the stat. It was right around COVID. I'm thinking late 2020 where the stat came out. I believe it was NAR that came out with the stat or some other study, but it was historical. More agents than buyers. Wait a minute. Now, some can argue COVID made that discrepancy happen because people were locked down, but at the same time, it still showcases to you how many of us there actually are in our market. So stand out, people.
Yeah, right. I tell people a lot of times that it takes more hours to be a hairdresser than it does a real estate agent. So you really have to you really have to know who you're working with. And actually I just put a video out on what to look for
Yeah,
in a real estate agent. Um,
it's a cool
is there
video.
anything with RPR that we didn't cover that you think people should know about?
Oh man, so we just only covered the ice. The iceberg is large. This is like a volcano, right? When you look at a volcano, right, it's only a little tiny thing, but underneath is so massive. So RPR is just the same thing. Today we just got to we just pulled up on the volcano, right? We just pulled up
Uh,
on it. We walked around. We looked at some sites. We didn't really dive deep into the ocean yet to understand the
uh,
complexity of RPR. So just to give you guys an understanding of what I speak about is that RPR gives you demographic. I'm not going to just keep it on the demographics. RPR gives you an analytical perspective of every market in such a way that it showcases to you how you should communicate with that community, what they want to see, how they want to learn.
mhm,
Where are they? What's going on? It even has a commercial side of it where you can find out the buying habits of a community to help out
mhm,
your investors who want to open up hair salons, daycare centers, spas, right? RPR is so powerful that it can be your hub for all data. Now, again, you want to cross check it with the MLS, full disclosure,
mhm,
but from the standpoint of blowing your clients away, RPR does it. You literally can go on RPR right now, type in a zip code. And I'm gonna show you this when we do the lunch and learn, by the way. Type in a zip code and then go into the filters. And then while you're in the filters, you're gonna scroll down. You can do this if you're listening, by the way, on your phone. Okay, you're gonna scroll down and you're gonna click pre-foreclosure, foreclosure. And then you're gonna go back to the top and hit public records and then press search. Watch what happens. It's going to be a populated red dotted map that shows you all the distressed properties in your market at this time, names, and possibly telephone numbers. One click. That's it. And that's just like one thing. I'm sorry, I'm getting too pumped up here, man.
No worries, no
I love
worries.
RPR, man.
Now, for people out there, for real estate agents who this is maybe your first time hearing about this, or maybe you're new in the industry, if you see those pre foreclosures or you see those foreclosures, these are people that you can reach out to because these may be people who are looking to sell their properties. In Philadelphia, the last year we had a 31% run up in the appreciation. So if somebody is in foreclosure, they may have enough equity to sell their home and get out of it. So that's what Javier is saying is okay, when you're identifying, you can identify people that you can target to get them to maybe to get you to be their listing agent.
Correct. And you can offer them different options, guys. The 40-year mortgage is out there for people who may have taken forbearance. Of course, RPR does not have that capability to identify those homeowners. However, if you are looking into an area where you see a high level of this distressed properties pop up, this is a way for you to offer them different options. It doesn't have to be, hey, I want you to leave and get out of your home. No, it can be, hey, here's some options for you, and therefore you're going to do more than a person that's just straight up out there looking just for listings. So make sure you're giving homeowners options. Again, it's about separation. We all can sell homes, but there is a special kind of agent that can go into a community and bring out investors, bring out people who now you've saved their lives, because the person losing their home, that brings in so much stress that that person can then fall into a health episode of some sort. We don't know. So you're doing more good going in and giving them options. So I love the fact that we're focusing on getting listings and inventory increases, but keep in mind of those other options that homeowners need desperately, especially those who are losing their jobs from AI.
Right, right. There's going to be more of that uh, in the pipeline. So, Javier, you gave us a bunch of information here, man. I know there's some people who are going to want to hook up with you personally.
Yep.
So, how can somebody reach you? How can these agents reach you to get more information?
Yes. So the fastest way to reach me is to go to newagenthandbook.com. You will have all of our links all on our homepage. Everything is there. We meet every morning on Clubhouse for role play, 8:30 to 9:30, free, 100%. Come out, get more confident in your communication levels. That's number one. Number two, every Friday we meet for a free masterclass on Zoom. That's also on our homepage, newagenthandbook.com. My information is there. My cell phone number is there. My email address is there. Let me know. I would love to be an advocate of yours, and most importantly, a trainer if possible down the line.
Awesome, man. Well, we want to thank you for joining us, man, and hitting us with all this knowledge. As Javier said, the end of this month,
Yep.
which is May, that we're going to be doing a lunch and learn, and we're going to have Javier come and show us step by step on how to utilize RPR and how to get the most out of it. Because it's free for us, but we are paying dues. So we're paying it somehow.
That's true.
So want to thank y'all for joining us. Again, this is Khalid Nathan Aleem, the real estate boy. And we'll see you next time on Hustle and Homes. Take care.
Thank you.